Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have another great, powerful, instructive, educational webinar, Joshua. And so let's get started right away.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Jumpstart webinar for this week. We've got a lot of great information once again, and we're going to be talking about, things that make the cash register ring, Joe, and talking about the perfect customer life cycle and continuing our conversation from last week. And it's going to be interesting. We're going to be talking about your customers, and give you tips and some tools maybe if you want to reach out to us that you may be able to use in your business to really work on those customers that don't buy from you, which are probably more than the ones that are buying from you.
I spoke to a credit repair company today from Connecticut, and she says, I've built my business to the point where I only take business by referral. And I said, well, and she described that a little bit further. She is getting business from referrals from real estate agents and others. But she said that a lot of her business comes from her own clients. And I said, well, tell me what you do. She said, well, I offer them $25 off their bill if they refer someone to me. And she said, I ask them every time I talk to them. And I said, well, congratulations. It really does work, doesn't it? She said, it absolutely does. Joshua, we've got a new webinar series that is on Tuesday at 3 p.m. as well, where we are rolling out our new credit repair software solution. So anyone that would like to join us for that, you can go to the Scoreinc.com website and go to a new tab that says webinars. And then on that webinar is the link where you can register for this Scoreway webinar. Well, Joshua, let's move quickly through this. This is part 2, so we don't want to recap too much. We want to kind of build the momentum. Last week we showed 3 videos that you've got to watch on the perfect life cycle of a customer from the Infusionsoft website. And Joshua, they're very powerful. It showed the point that we're just missing, so much opportunity by not following up profitably or consistently with our database and our customers that come in through the front door. We don't follow up, and thus we lose a lot of conversions.
Yeah, and having said that, that is important because more of our customers normally say no than the ones that do say yes. And if that's not your problem, well then, and you're closing, 60 to 70% of your customers, I got to applaud you. That's a great closing ratio. But I would suggest you do 2 things. Reassess that measurement, and if it sustains itself, number 2, well, then worry about the other 30%, the other 40% that you're not closing, because definitely you're already spending money on acquiring them, Joel. So why not nurture them, and why not, plug the holes in the bucket, as someone from Infusionsoft might say. Plug those holes in the bucket and stop the leakage of a potential customer that can buy your product or service, rather than just throwing money at acquiring new ones. And that's a very, very, very common mistake that, I don't know about you, Joel, but I've made that mistake many times with other business endeavors. And I think we've made that mistake at Score as well sometimes.
Well, regardless of how well you're doing, I hate to say, but you can always do a little bit better, okay? But at the same time, there's room for improvement in every business, including ours, and following up well with our customers. So, Joshua, the initial buy sequence starts with the customer acquisition. Where do they come from? Again, not to recap for too long, but to kind of bring up through the momentum here. You can review this last week's training anytime you'd like at our members-only website, members-only section of our website. Going to that 5-minute pre-qualification, the importance of, and again, whether it's 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, the point is it's not 30 minutes. I talked to a lady today who said, that she was doing a lot of advertising, and some of that advertising resulted in her spending 30 minutes to an hour on the phone with someone that didn't buy. And she basically said, that didn't work. And so, we talked for a minute about the 5-minute pre-qualification, going through the process. And, Joshua, I think that ends with if the customer's not willing to pull out their credit card and spend $16.95 to pull their credit report on myiqreport.com, then that's really where the conversation ought to end.
Well, not end. Begin, Joel. Begin.
Well, begin. Excuse me. Begin. Take on another nature. You're
Yeah,
exactly
take
right.
on another nature. Yeah, I mean, because you know how many times I've been told no in my life, Joel? I'm persistent. I'm told no every day, many, many times, but I'm persistent. And a lot of you on this call know that I am very persistent, that know me, and that's the way I've been trained. That's the way I was when I was a kid, and I really can't change that. So that comes as a plus. But sometimes we give up too quick, and that's what the perfect customer life cycle is. It's basically not giving up, but doing it in a way that really doesn't encumber your time, so that you can continue to do other high payoff activities. You want to nurture your customers, and if you can't reach out to them immediately and close them with immediate follow-up, you've got to nurture them. They've got to go into a long-term nurturing sequence of some sort, Joe. So that's when the opportunity really begins. That's when it gets really interesting. And the more you and if you touch that customer in many different ways, it's incredible. You can't just go to Facebook, Joe, and establish a campaign. You can't just go to your website and establish a campaign. You can't go to radio. You can't just go to affiliates. They've got to be all working together. And when customers start getting touched consistently, and even better from multiple media streams, the magic starts happening. And it takes time to build that. But once it's running, you can't stop the endeavor, because it's a spiral effect. It's organic in nature if you've got a process. And this is what we're talking about. We're applying a process to that perfect customer lifecycle.
Yeah, exactly. And so this slide denotes, what do you do when you get a customer? And so, those are the ones we want to attend to first. We want to make sure that they have the perfect or best, most profitable relationship with you. And I related it to this. Imagine back from an emotional standpoint, the very first date you went on, the very first encounter that you had, and the fact that the person that you felt like that moment you want to spend the rest of your life with almost, didn't call you back, right? And how if you can take yourself, as Tony Robbins says, to that place emotionally and feel that, that's what you need to do. That's what I'm trying to convince and convey to you. And then determine that you will never put your customer in that position to make them feel that way ever again, because you're going to do something on purpose. You're going to reach out to that customer, I think within 1 hour, 2 hours at the most. You're going to call them the next day. And what are you going to ask them, Joshua? Well, it's a couple of things that you could ask the customer that would be a reason to call.
If they didn't, there's two types of customers, and logically we're talking, right, Joel, about the one that didn't buy, the one that didn't buy immediately, right? The ones that do buy, how vulnerable they feel when they walk out your door, or they get off the phone and they go, man, I just told that guy or that gal everything about me, and man, I hope that they can help me. And all of a sudden, they call their mother, and their mother says, credit repair, I heard this or I heard that. And so they're in a vulnerable state after they bought. And so, the one customer, the life cycle of the customer we want to protect first in this conversation, in this series, is the customer that buys. Absolutely.
You got to protect that relationship.
Well, what do customers, once they buy, what's their mindset? What's the next step? I mean, when we sell our service at Score, the question after the customer signs up, the next email I get or next call or text message is, what's next? And we might send them an email letting them know. We might tell them what on our closing call and let them know, or during the sales process, we'll go over that as well. But they're always going to ask, what's next? Why? Because the customer has relinquished something that was in his possession, and it's an intangible that he just can't get. So it's important that we call them immediately and let them and reassure them. We assure them what we're doing right now, okay, and what's going to happen in the next 15 to 30 or 35 days, and go over the touches that we're going to have with them. Encourage him within to go and log in and understand and bookmark how to go into their customer portal, and if you've got one with the software that you're using, if you're not using our Scoreinc with our business solution. So those are the types of things that we can tell the customer. But the most important thing is to ask them for a referral. After that, at the end of all of that, ask them for a referral, because you want you want to continue to ask for referrals. If you ask them for a referral before, ask them again. What can you say? No? Well, okay. Move on.
Yeah, very good point. So, but let's go through this one more time and quickly, and we'll keep going. 1 hour or two after they leave your office, after you talk to them on the phone, after they close, after they give you your credit card information, after you've gotten their money, after they've said yes, call them up and ask them, hey, by the way, I was looking at your credit report and I saw this on there. I just want to ask you a question. Hey, by the way, I want to clarify something. Whatever it is, I'm sure there'll be something to clarify, right? And then do the next day, hey, I wanted to let you know that we're getting ready to start the dispute process. That's going to go out in a couple of days, and just want to make sure you understood. Call them, 5 days later. And Joshua, all that takes a lot of effort, but in 90% of the cases, you're going to get their voicemail, so it's not really that big of a deal. But if you'll touch this customer, you'll earn their respect, then you'll have the opportunity to earn that referral as well if you ask for it. And Joshua, then we covered the Don't Buy series. Again, you go back to the 5-minute pre-qualification. Why didn't they buy, and talk about the reasons that they didn't buy, of course, and then put them on the continuity program as we've been discussing, both email and social media.
Yeah, customers that don't buy need to get put on some type of a short-term nurturing sequence that converts with minimum touches between 7 to 11 tries. It takes about seven tries for a customer to be interested or feel comfortable with purchasing your service or product, and that means that we've got to touch them about 7 times before they even start to feel warm and fuzzy. So don't try to start going out of the gate and upselling. Start giving things to them. Try to establish yourself as someone that can actually help them, and be true about it. If you're going to enroll them and they don't buy, downsell the customer on that 5-minute pre-qualification. Downsell that customer to a free credit repair course. And an example of a free credit repair course can be an email that truly, a set of emails that truly help you do that, that truly help the consumer repair their credit. Now, you know what the problem with customers repairing their own credit is, right? Well, it's just like any other service. I could wash my car, I could defend myself in court, and I can iron my own clothes, but quite frankly, I take my clothes to the laundry. If I have somebody wash my car, sometimes I may wash it, but it's because I want to do some exercise. But that's about it. Most of the time I don't. I pay somebody because it's something I would prefer not to do. I've got other things that I believe are high payoff activities that I want to do. And guess what? Just like being able to represent myself in the court of law is something I could do. By law, I'm actually able to do that, but I don't do that, and I'll probably hire a lawyer to defend me if I needed one. The same thing goes with credit repair. Customers could do it on their own, but they want to have. There's a lot of problems going on. I mean, look, that's why we showed last week the 60-minute clip that we showed for about 5 minutes. This is relevant to the customer, and they're going to buy. The reason why they don't buy is not because of price. It's not going to be because of time. It's because they don't trust you. They don't believe that you can deliver on what they're looking for. So you've got to cross that barrier. And fundamentally, if you're not looking at your customer eye to eye, it's just it's 10 times more difficult. I mean, even more than that, I would say. Our closing ratios, when I was in the credit repair business, it was a face-to-face interaction, and they were between 50 and 70%, depending on our facility. But when we started trying to close customers off the internet, we didn't understand the deal, Joel, because the customers would close at between 5 and 10% of the time at the bat, and that was terrible for us. We didn't understand the market. But they were on a lead nurturing campaign and a continuity sequence that we had built behind that. And then they started coming into and converting 2, 3, 4 months down the road. They would come in and ready to buy. So just to make it clear for everyone, customers going to buy, when he's ready to buy, we just have to be the natural choice. So with a free credit course or something similar to that engages the customer when they don't buy, and we downsell that and give that to them, that builds a lot of rapport, a lot of goodwill with that customer. Then they start getting information for 7 to 10 days, and you're not pitching anything at them. All of a sudden, they'll receive an upsell, and it's a help upsell. Something about collections and harassing calls. Offering them a free credit consult. Offering them a way to make additional revenue, like a friends and family plan, where you can actually pay a commission to them and pay a commission to the person that is actually buying the service as well. So that person also gets accustomed to referring other customers for a fee. Okay? Those are the types of things that you want. You don't want to come at that customer. You want to let him come to you. And you've got to have some interventions to try to stimulate that purchase. And you can do that either through an intervention with another media, like calling the customer after the 10th, 11th try, or you can offer an email that offers some type of a discount as well within that nurturing campaign only after the 7th touch. Okay, and if you guys want, this is something that we have. I've got it all built already. If you need it, and if you do need it, just set up a call with us if you're a customer with your Scoreway Solutions Envoy, which is Jasmine Burgos. And if you're not a customer of Score, just call her as well and set up an initial call so we can talk and see what we can do to help you and get your business on the right track. But this is a great example, Joel, of a course that can really help you supercharge that so important first 7 to 11 days, Joel.
Well, one of the things is for sure, nobody ever walks in a credit repair company or calls them and doesn't believe that they've got bad credit. They may not be convinced that you can help them or that they want to part with their money. Now, we were at a meeting about a year ago, and we heard from this guy that was a guy that actually stole money from people and on the stock market, and but he made a valid point. Even somebody like that can make a valid point. He said that you have to determine, there's varying degrees of people, and sometimes some people are very difficult to separate themselves from their money. Okay, they look at things with a very carefully, and it is very difficult to separate them from their money. The others, it's easy to separate them from their money. They want to buy. They're ready to buy. They're buyers. But some people aren't. So another aspect of this is you got to figure out who you're dealing with and try to identify that with their personality nature. But some training along those lines is always valuable. One of the things that we want to know here is, let me go back to this other slide, is the perfect life cycle of the affiliate, whether the affiliate referral, whether they buy or don't buy, is one of the most critical aspects of building a referral network. When a customer is referred by a real estate agent, loan originator, car dealer, whoever it might be, make sure that you call the affiliate back with the disposition of the initial call. Okay, whether they buy or they don't buy, and talk about the reasons that you don't believe that they bought with that referral source. Talk about the reasons that they did buy. Plan on working together. Plan on getting together and building a cohesive force. I was on the phone with someone else today, and I made the comment to them that you've got to go from, or you've got to get the affiliate. Let's just pick on the real estate agent for a moment. You've got to get the real estate agent to stop thinking that they're doing you a favor by referring someone to you that doesn't qualify for a house or a loan. They're doing themselves a favor. Okay? You've got to show them the money. You've got to do some comparisons. You've got to say in your marketplace, the average price of the home is $200,000, let's say it is, or whatever the number is. Average real estate commission 6 or 7% in most markets that I know of. So that's a $12,000 commission. The average agent's going to, let's just say, get half of it. Some different markets have different customary splits. But let's just say half, that's 60%. And most agents are going to get it, or $6,000. And most agents are going to get at least half of that, if not up to 70 or 80% of that. So every time they refer someone to you, it is worth anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 to them if you can get their credit improved to the point that they are ready to buy a house. Okay? So when you are speaking to a real estate agent, you know, you need to become evangelistic with this message and the fact that, look, you're not helping me because I'm only going to get paid, you know, $1,000 or $700 or $299 up front and, you know, $129 a month or whatever it is. You have the possibility of getting $3,000 to $5,000. Since I'm able to improve, let's just say, you know, 30 to 40 to 50% of the people's credit to the point that they can buy a house within 6 months, I'm your new best friend, buddy, because if every deal is worth $3,000 to you and I get a third of them back to you, every time you refer somebody to me, you might as well write yourself a $1,000 check. Now, once you make that clear to the loan originator or the real estate agent, once you make that happen in your marketplace and their experience with you, then you move to a whole nother realm of working with them. But it starts with a number of things, including the disposition of the call that moment as fast as possible so that that affiliate doesn't ever sense that they're sending a referral into a black hole. They know exactly what's going on, and they know the disposition. And I'll take it one more step because, Joshua, if we didn't talk about anything else, this one thing will absolutely change your business if you're on this call today. And that is that you've got to go from the agent or the loan originator saying, yeah, I got a guy that helps people with credit. Let me give you his number. Okay? You've got to move away from that completely. Educate your referral source so that you can begin a new perfect customer life cycle every day, okay? And that referral source actually call you on the phone and give the consumer the phone and say, I want you to meet Joshua. He can help you with your credit. And improve that handoff to the point that it moves into that sort of warm, hot, enthusiastic transfer over to you, and if they'll do that every time, their sales will go up because your sales will go up. And Joshua, it's not hard to do it, but guess what? You've got to build a relationship. You've got to demonstrate this to the referral source that this is a business opportunity, not just you doing me a favor. I'm not some other guy walking in here with a credit repair offer.
Yeah, I mean, those are, you know, Joe, one of the questions that I get on most of my calls when we're talking to CROs is you know, once they start up with Score is exactly that. You know, how do I for new customer startups, how do I start that process of building the affiliate, you know, building my affiliate relationships and recruiting affiliates? Well, once you get them, and you better nurture them, because they're just going to come after, if you're, you know, and be careful with paying out referral units. If you are paying out referrals, make sure it's something that can be done without getting anybody into trouble in your state. But if they're just coming after the $50, $100, $200, whatever you pay them, if they're just coming after that, that's their only incentive, well, you're probably not doing a really good job at helping them and get to where they need to go. And either they're giving you the wrong customers, or you're not producing the right deliverable. Either way, you've got to be able to convert. And when you do convert, how do you educate your affiliates? I'll tell you how. If every month after you've nurtured affiliates and you've got them in there and they're giving you, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 customers per month, whatever it is, for any single affiliate, I'll tell you what's important information that you can share with them on a call. Let them know how many customers that you turned over to them, and when they close, you need to know that, because you can pretty much guess what their closing ratios are with regards to those customers that they're sending over to you, and they can do the math. It's simple. If it's 2, it's 2 times $3,000. If it's 5, it's 5 times $3,000. It's simple as that. And it takes time for them to build that centrifuge of customers into the credit repair area, and that's what you need to educate them on. The more they send to you, the more they get back. These are the conversations that they seem obvious, but quite frankly, they're not, Joel.
Yeah, they're not. No, and we've got all sorts of training on this, Joshua. So let's encourage everybody to go to the website and review the training, because there are critical junctures along the way that you don't want to miss. And one of them is the day that you talk to a customer referred by somebody, you call them that day. Okay. Another juncture is you call them every Friday and update them on the cases that they've referred to you, and tell them. Well, you don't have to update them every Friday, but you update them on the ones that have updated that week, things of that nature. And then ask and remind them, hey, I'll be available this weekend. If you get anybody that needs my services, just call me while you're with them, or do a 3-way call. Everybody knows how to do that these days, right? Even I know how to do it. All right? And do a 3-way call and let me talk to them, because if you'll let me talk to them, the chances of me getting them help so that you can close a deal. This is a script, okay? Write this down. If you will do this, if you will do a 3-way call with them, I will be available, and it will increase the likelihood that I will be able to speak with them, help them, and get them back to you so that you can make your commission.
Simple.
And then on Monday, call them up and say, Monday afternoon, wait till after 12 o'clock, call them up Monday afternoon. Hey, I just want to see if there's anybody at work, anybody you ran into this weekend, you weren't able to get to me, and let's talk about your sales funnel. Let's talk about increasing your sales funnel. And I have to tell you, most real estate agents do not understand this concept. Most loan originators do not understand it. It is they're worse than car dealers, Joshua. If you don't buy that day, you're out of sight, out of mind. And so what you've got to do is you've got to help them understand it. And the ones that do understand it, work with them, and the ones that don't, they just won't be able to understand it. But those are 3 real keys to having more customers in your customer life cycle. So we've already gone through this that slide. Let's go to the next one here. Again, customer nurturing every 2 weeks.
Now
Part 1 is the process. No, you're right.
Yeah, Joel, this is long-term nurturing now. Let's say the customer, and I gave you the example of a free credit course. So let's backtrack a bit, Joel. We went ahead. We had a customer didn't close. We put them on a conversion, on a short-term nurturing sequence, on a conversion sequence, right? We couldn't do the job. Let's downsell them to a free credit course, and let's get them into that nurturing series. So let them do it themselves, and then try to convert. If day 11 comes along and they still didn't convert through your process, okay? Well, then they've got to go into a long-term nurturing sequence. And these long-term nurturing sequences might have less sales than what you think. There's nothing more that I hate, Joel, and that turns me off immediately than to receive email after, one email with some information, and it sounds like, this guy went from $1 million to $1 billion. This guy went, like, come on, don't insult me that way. I mean, talk to them about real things. This is a dispute process. Just in case you didn't get that, let me clear it up for you. Okay, these are your rights. Your rights under FCRA, your rights under FDCPA. Okay, and just talk to them like you're helping them. And then about every 4 times you send an email, every 2 to 4 times, depending on the frequency of your email, it should be no less than once per month. Okay, you want to go ahead and try to upsell that client either with I would say with an email, a text message, and a call. That, by the way, in the free credit course, you should also integrate SMS texting every time an email goes out. So if you can automate that, great. If you can't, well, build it into your Outlook and put it in there so it tells you when to text them. But the reality is that with your text, you've got to drive them somewhere else. I want to add something else. When you're preparing these nurturing campaigns, I mentioned Facebook earlier, Joe. When you're preparing these campaigns, make sure they have your Facebook, LinkedIn, and pin interest and anything else you use on the bottom of the email and on every upsell email as well. Okay, because they're going to click on that. Make sure they've got like sequences on there. They're going to click on that, and they're just going to be touched by them. They're going to go ahead and maybe like your page, and if you've got somebody posting on a daily basis or every couple of days, or you're posting on your Facebook page, guess what? That's an additional touch. Now they're social. So whenever you say something interesting in a social way, it builds a better relationship with that customer. So it makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside about using your service, hopefully. And there's no exact science to this, but let me tell you, what is true is the more ways that we touch that customer, the greater the probability is to close that customer. So a big important thing on this long-term nurturing, customer nurturing campaign is, I want you to write this down, is touch them at least once a month in a different way other than these emails, okay? And there's a bunch of them. The credit bureau is under fire. You can go on the internet, okay, and you can search for this. Now, it's got a ribbon that has somebody else's credit repair company on there. Well, just block out over it. Just edit it. Many applications that can do that. Okay, proactive credit repair versus reactive credit repair. This is, people say, what is that? Well, if you've been on our calls, you know what that is. It's if you're waiting for results, you're in the dark ages. You need to step it up. You need to become more proactive. You need to be able to provide your customer a great deliverable that's in your hands, not in their hands. And you need to take control of their credit repair as their credit repair provider. Budgeting. If they don't know how to budget, send them the tool. You'd be surprised how many people don't understand that. And that's a great segue to another call. Go ahead and call the customer. By the way, I sent you a bunch of spreadsheets. Do you need any help with that? That's a great way. Well, if you do need any help, let me show you. Spend $5, block the time. Do whatever you can to nurture that customer if it's viable. I mean, don't spend hours with this customer on the phone, but spending 5 minutes of your time to close a customer and to build a little bit of rapport is not a bad thing. History of the fight of Fair Isaac Corporation, controlling your score, monitoring your credit. Okay, these are all things that you can have. Very little text in an email. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to have an HTML look on it. It needs to have content and links and references in your Facebook, your number. It needs to have your email on there. Your email, if it's not obvious. It needs to have everything to get in touch with you. You need to brand yourself, your company, and the ways to get social with you on all of those. And that's about it, Joe. Once we do that, we're laying a great framework, start plugging those little holes in the bucket that we're trying to fit in that sales bucket we're trying to fill up, and just letting everything go down the road.
Well, I'll remind you of what my good friend Greg Frost says. Okay. People all over the country ask him, Greg, how do you do 100 loans a month? He says, I do them one at a time. They said, where do you get them from? He says, well, I get 2 or 3, he'd say, from sending out my lead nurturing campaign from people that don't buy. He'd say, I get 3 or 4 or 5 a month because every Saturday I call all the people that I've got in my pipeline that decided not to buy. Every Tuesday I call. Every Tuesday night I call. That's what he'd say. He said, I go to all of the realtor functions, and I build relationships with the realtors that way. He'd say, I call all my referral sources every Friday, and I call them again on Monday. That's what he'd say. What he'd say is I go out to open houses every Sunday and meet 2 new agents and talk to them about my business and the fact that I've got a lead generation mechanisms that generate buyers that will be looking to buy a home. And while I've got a lot of real estate agents that send me business, he'd say, I'm always on the lookout interviewing new agents to see if I can do business with them. So I'm here to interview you. I've been doing a little research on you, and I see that you've been in business 3 years, or you accomplished this last month, or last year you got this award. So I'd like to meet you. And he'd say, I get a few deals a month that way. And so, and then he'd go on to say, now that his son's there, and he knows what Facebook is, he'd say, yeah, we get 2 or 3 from Facebook, and we get 2 or 3 from LinkedIn. And that's how people build big businesses. They don't, and they don't want all of their eggs in one basket. Okay, so but that's how you do it, Josh. You chip away. You get a little bit over here. You get a little bit over here, and you never stop doing what works. You just keep doing it, but you fit it all into your schedule. And how do you do that? Well, we got a whole series of training on time blocking. People spend more time. I haven't gone to this website yet, but let me look up what it is. I think it's you should know, or something like that. Let me look this up. Last night I get in the car, and this is important. GoodToKnow.com. Now, I'm not going there to watch this yet, but GoodToKnow.com's got this video, or 12-week training, and the guy says most of the time people spend the majority of their thought life regretting yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. Okay? And what they don't do is live in the day. Well, if you're not careful, you'll spend your day regretting yesterday. You spend most of your day regretting the past, worrying about the future, and not acting decisively, taking massive action every day by time blocking your day, and hold yourself accountable. And you say, from every Monday at 12 or 1 o'clock, I'm going to call my referral sources. Every Friday afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock, and try it in the morning too. See which one works best. I'm going to call my referral sources. Every Saturday, I'm going to call everybody who didn't buy. Every time I meet with a client, I'm going to do this. Every time I meet with a client, I'm going to do that. And if you'll do those things, Joshua, it will cause you to have more business and for you to be more profitable, and it'll get you to the point where you're not worrying about the future, okay, and you're regretting less the past because you're acting in the moment. I always say this, the only way to stop doing some things, sometimes, the only way to stop doing things is to start doing something that takes up your energy and your thought process, and you apply that effort directly and on purpose, and as a result, all of a sudden, Joshua, you got 3 more customers a week, or 5 more customers a week, or 50 more customers a week. But it won't happen for any other reason than you taking that decided action. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here, is these little things that work, and sometimes you just got to get your mind right in order to start doing them properly. I hate to go off on the psychological bent there, but I'm right.
No, well, you are right, Joe. We've got a reaction stimulates a reaction, right?
Well, it does, and then the question is, did you like the reaction? Because if you didn't, start making another action. That's the thing about it. And it's kind of back as an example to if you don't like the results you're getting from the way you approach the customer after the life cycle, and you're not getting referrals, well, change the action. Because if you'll change the action, make them really happy, just go overboard with proactive communication, both of your customers, the referral agent as well as the consumer. It's just magnificent what'll happen in your business. Another place to communicate with your customers is a new welcome email, notice of account update, dispute mid-cycle, dispute anniversary email. And those, of course, goes to the salesperson, the affiliate, and with the target score on there, and with the current score after the update. Those are, perfect, obvious opportunities to communicate with the customer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with the affiliate, okay? Because what the affiliate's after is that daggum, credit score, getting that credit score up. So let them know, how's that coming along. And, of course, what is it like?
And the salesperson, Joe, just, think about, some of you were salespeople for other people, for other companies. And a lot of the times when we've all done it, we sold something to a consumer, and then we just stepped back because it was done. No, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of your relationship. Ask them for a referral. Ladies and gentlemen, Joel is going on a rant and a rave, which I love, Joel, by the way, that you're talking about affiliates, because that's what all of our customers are asking about. There's a lot of marketing material on the internet, and people kind of figure things out, but there's very little that talks about building great affiliate resources. And from experience, from the point of view of somebody that's built very, very large affiliate networks, 5,000 strong. So that's very important. But I got to tell you, Joel, the other side to this coin is, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I've said this hundreds and hundreds of times, just ask for referrals every opportunity. Place it in your email. Put a little 2-line snapshot there, that it'll be top of mind. It'll be top of mind. When your customers start getting wowed by your service, what happens is that you're going to start getting some customers. If you don't already have them, the customers that just start endorsing you, they become your fans. They become raving fans. And the reason why they do that is because you wowed them in a way that they've created a bond. They've bought your corporate vision somehow. And, letting them know that there's something in there for them is always a great way to start that feeling.
Absolutely. We talked about paying referral fees. I can tell you, because I've researched it, I know, this is not this is an educated opinion. No, not an opinion. This is an educated fact, Joshua. It is a violation of RESPA to pay a real estate agent, a builder, or a mortgage person for a referral of a consumer related to a credit repair. And it's not just related to credit repair. If you're in the title business, if you're in the mortgage business, and you pay real estate agents for sending you business, it's a RESPA violation. You may never get caught, but it is a RESPA violation, okay? But it is not a violation to pay a consumer for a referral fee. And you should definitely consider doing that. And, the question is, how much do you have to pay them? Well, as little as possible, but make it interesting. A thing that you might want to do, and it's very it happens in every market, so I know it'll happen. Go to a local restaurant, even an Outback type of restaurant, in places that you like to go, and talk to the manager and say, I want to begin to pay to buy gift cards and give them to my customers. How much will you give me a discount for? So if I buy a $50 gift card, how much will you pay for it? Even Ruth's Chris, which I go to a lot here in Mobile, they will do that. Okay, so if Ruth's Chris will do it, everybody does it. So because they know there's breakage. So, and I don't remember the numbers, but it's like $40 for a $50 gift card at Ruth's Chris, because they know there's going to be breakage, and they know that the consumer's going to come in and spend way more than $50. So they're paying $10 for you to bring them a customer. So sometimes a gift card like that is more valuable than the actual money, but let them decide what they want. But it is absolutely, something you can do. And Joshua, you've even got a script that they could use when they're calling and asking for money from people. It's a great time to say, hey, now I know you know other people that need my services, need their credit repaired just like I've done for you, and you owe me money and you can't pay, so won't you refer somebody to me, and I'll give you $50 off your bill if they sign up, whatever the number is.
That's the idea of, how many of us get a call like that every day? Giving, a collection call that gives you the opportunity to generate some income and go ahead and pay something off of your balance. Let me tell you, I've never received a call like that, Joe. So why not? So that's different. That will create a different type of customer. People will be impressed with that. Some won't give a damn, but quite frankly, most people will. And this is the type of thing that wows our customers, even when doing the billing process, which is never a happy thing. When you're trying to account for receivables, it's a problem.
And let's go back to a very important, critical experience point that is absolutely factual, okay? If you don't bill somebody on the day they expect to be billed and you bill them a couple of days later, the chance of that ACH or that credit card going through goes down. Okay, so you've got to, again, you've got to time block your day or assign the responsibility to somebody, but you've got to bill your customer. You've got to unashamedly ask for your money on the day that it's due and make, expect payment. Now, of course, that means that, we've got one of our customers on the phone that, he really communicates very well with his customer, as he's on a pay-for-delete basis. So he calls them up and says, hey, you're going to owe me $300 or $400 this week. How much can you pay? Or, before he runs the card. So situations like that, you want to be careful with and do a good job with. But as we say here, this is your slide, Joshua, bill them 2-day reminder, billing reminder day, fill billing notice, and you call them. And day 1, 2, 3, and 4, then you keep calling them.
Yeah, and you want to keep calling them, but once again, like if you're going to automate this, like every great automated campaign, if you've got the ability to automate SMS and integrate it in here, absolutely. On every email, send an SMS, driving that customer to their email. Go check your email. There's something important from you from Score. Okay? Drive, or from whoever, drive that person over to their email. Okay? Check your, once, if you want to integrate voice interactions as well, after the first week, definitely, that increases the probability to get paid. Now, all of this requires a process, but the reality of the fact is that the more, once again, same with sales, whenever you're trying to get any money, whether they're account receivables or revenue from sales, the more we touch our customers, the greater success we have at getting the revenue.
Yeah, and let's talk about the scripting around calling people for money, because I know most people are uncomfortable with that collection process, okay? These are your customers, but they owe you money, okay? So I believe that the nicer you are, the greater the chance you're actually going to get the money, because most people, not all people, but most people aren't paying you because they don't have the money. Some people aren't paying you because they spent it on themselves or something else and didn't meet their obligations, but nonetheless, they don't have any money. So, Joshua, let's talk about that. You've got a lot of experience collecting from consumers. What's the best way to manage that conversation to let people feel more comfortable with this?
Draw their concern to getting their credit repaired. The collection, the scripting should be around getting their credit repaired. You are concerned. We're calling you today because we're concerned that you're not able to continue in our program the way we had agreed to from the beginning, and that concerns us, that you improve your life or your credit to a way that you can get everything that you need from it once it's been restored. And we're concerned about that. So if you're leaving a message, please call me as soon as possible. If you're not leaving a message, if you're just talking to that person, continue with that. So is there any way that we can help you to start this process up again? Just let us know. And start discussing this with the customer. come approach the customer as a person that's concerned with their credit repair, which you are, and you should be. But you're also concerned about getting paid, and let them know that. And in order for us to continue, we've got to come to a financial agreement to get you started again. Okay, and then, work it out with the customer. Put them on partial payment. That works. Give them options. It's, well, you owe me your $200, and $200 is a lot of money to pay when you agreed to pay $99 a month. Can you do $50 today and $50 at the end of the week? That's a savvy collection effort, and you're working with the customer. But don't come at the customer. No, I need my $200. If not, I really can't work for free. And if you're on the call and you've done that before, stop it, right? And think about this. It's always better to get something and then establish thresholds. Let's take 50 today, and we can run an ACH on your account if you've got it today, or give me another credit card, or give me another account number, send them an ACH, get an ACH form, through EchoSign or something like that, or fax it to them or email it to them, whatever, have them sign it, get it back, run it for $50. You say, well, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of effort for $50. No, it's a lot of effort to keep that customer in the fold. If that customer is going through a problem which you don't understand because he doesn't want to relinquish the information, you're building a raving fan, and you're building customer loyalty in the billing department, Joel.
Right. Yeah, and that's very good. And again, one thing you didn't bring out, let me try to reiterate, is that ask them for a referral and say, hey, if you refer somebody to me that signs up, I'll knock $50 off your bill. Okay, that's motivates them to do that at probably the most opportune time. Hey, man, this guy's working with me. Now, let's go back to the very beginning of that particular conversation. We've got a whole training on this subject of getting paid and selecting the customer from the beginning. As you're going through that process, and I know that's the process where somebody owes you $200 and they can't pay but $50, I have to tell you chose the wrong customer, okay? And you didn't set things up properly to begin with, and it'll be very difficult for you to make money at that sort of level. So, don't put yourself in that position. Put yourself in a position where you've got a customer that's actually got the money and can afford to pay you. Okay. Now, but when you find yourself in this position, these are the tools and the tactics that you use. Using trends to pay, getting a second merchant account, getting a second credit card billing, making sure that you don't take a customer on that can't afford you. How do you know a customer can't afford you? Because they don't have any money in their bank. They can't pay you that day. Okay, that's a good sign. And in every instance with the people on this call, Joshua, you're performing real services that are valid and not some automated deal like Lexington Law's got, where they can charge $79 and churn and probably only collect about 60 to 70% of that because that's their customer, but that's not your business. Okay, so you've got to deal with people that can actually pay you, and if you don't, you won't be successful in this business. And we've got a whole training on that. So, I just thought it important when I was hearing you talk about, 50 and $100 and $200. I mean, it'll grind you down to nothing, and it will be, if that's the type of business that you're running, and some of you are. So, use trends to pay. Make sure you got the right customer to begin with, and so that you're not wasting your time, too much time on collections. And then, even then, Joshua, you're still going to have collections.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joe, I get this question asked to me on our coaching and mentoring calls with our new Scoreinc Credit Repair Business Solution. I get that asked all the time. Is what do you think is the most, because clients don't know if it's a one-on-one coaching mentoring track. They don't know where to begin because there's so much to ask, so they get confused. It's like a rush. Have you ever had brain freeze? You want to eat something cold and you just bite into it, and you can't even taste you can't taste the snow cone, something like that, because there's just a rush of cold coming in. Well, guess what? That happens with ideas sometimes as well. So the best question I get asked, what is the most important thing that we can talk about, Joshua? And I said, well, there's a lot of varying opinions on that. But one of the most important things that I would talk about from a sales perspective, okay, is establishing expectations. And then from a billing perspective, is how to get paid. From a compliance perspective, is making sure I'm in line with what I'm selling legally and with regards to what I'm saying. So this is what we're trying to really draw your attention to. It's important for us to establish the appropriate expectations. And when we have an intake process that fundamentally gives us the true opportunity to say, you're not ready for us at this time yet, okay? And then politely say no to a customer and give them the option to do something on their own. If you're not doing that today in your business, you're taking everybody on. And everybody can't take on your service. And that's why your accounts receivables are a lot higher. That's why your customer service ticket per customer, your average investment with regards to customer service is probably a little higher than others. And you just don't know it because you're not sharing that information, or we're not sharing that information as an industry freely to everybody. We don't have a true association that dumps data into a repository and comes up with market trends. This space is not there yet, ladies and gentlemen. But I've been in spaces, and the mortgage industry is one of them. But that I know has this as well, Joe. And they do have repositories of data. They have specific steps of how to display and codification and all of that. We're not there yet. We will be in the future, ladies and gentlemen. But we need to start now to establish what those non-negotiables are. You should start with at least instilling them in your businesses today. Saying no is a great thing, Joe.
Well, you've just got to, and again, I say it all the time. There's one thing worse than not getting paid, and that's having done the work and not get paid. So if you're going to have difficulty with a customer, you just got to say no right up front, and really you're saying not now, but when, and again, giving them another path to go down, and again, that's a group that you may be calling every other Saturday. Hey, I just wanted to check in with you, and again, you're going to get their voicemail 90% of the time. Okay, but credit repair isn't something that you're going to sell them in the heat of the moment that they're going to stick with. So obviously that's not the way to do it. But it's but you just got to stay in front of them, and it's absolutely the way to do it. Joshua, we always want to talk about, as I've said today, time blocking your day. It is the most critical thing that I've ever done. I do it every day. It's how I run my schedule. Most of, I'd say about 80% of my day is scheduled. I have blocks of time that I'm going to do particular jobs, and by and large, I stick with it pretty good. I don't hit it 100% of the time. Things come in the way, so understanding that. But if you've got some content to write, as an example, you've got some calls to make, you've got some office work to do, you've got to go meet affiliates, you're going to make these calls to affiliates on Friday and Monday, you're going to do these particular duties or delegate them to your employees to make sure they're doing it, that's how you've got to do it, or otherwise everything just runs into itself and nothing really gets done, okay? Another thing that I want everybody to do, and it just absolutely makes all the difference in the world, is if you'll go into really, when you leave your office on Friday, if you don't work on the weekend, don't wait until Sunday to do it, but at the very least, before Monday morning, have a list of the big things you're going to accomplish for the week. Okay, I'm going to go meet 3 new referral sources. I'm going to go to open house Sunday, like Joel said. I'm going to go meet with that agent, and then during the week, I'm going to follow up with their broker, their sales manager, their favorite loan originator, and this is when I'm going to do it. Okay, if you'll begin to do those things and time block your day and not make excuses for not doing it, you will grow and build your business. Okay, and it's the only way. I'm writing about 100 different pieces of content right now, and it's tough because guess what? The only way I can do it, Joshua, is to sit down and do it, uninterrupted. Go and go do it. And so if you don't do it on purpose, it won't get done. It just doesn't happen. And the same thing goes for meeting new referral sources and the like, because the customers are going to call when they're going to call, but the other things have just got to get done in their place. Joshua, let's talk real quickly about Identity IQ and the benefits of using that great product. You must be on mute.
Yeah, I'm answering some questions here, Joe. Can you go ahead and talk about that for me, please?
Yeah, sure. The best part about Identity IQ is that all of the derogatory items are in one location on the credit report. And I won't say that it's just this simple, but it kind of comes close to this, is when the item is no longer in that derogatory list, guess what? It's no longer derogatory. So at the very least, it's a simple-to-read report that you should consider using exclusively. If someone already has credit monitoring, you know, that's one thing. But if they don't, and most people don't, get them to sign up with this. And in order to get the $16.95 price with the 30-day pulls, you've got to use this link and this link only. There's no other way to get to it. It's www.myiqreport.com, and that will get you that special price. Otherwise, it's a 90-day pull at a $29 price. We also have our Fair Debt Collection Practice Act department for the month of March. If you refer over 3 consumers that we buy the leads from, we'll give you a $50 bonus. So that gets you the total value up to $200 per lead that closes. Okay, so call this number or email us or go to the website, and there's a link there that says Fair Debt Collection Practice. Let me go there real quick and show you what you've got to do. Navigate to our website. On the right, there's a link, the tab called Fair Debt Collection Practice. You click on that. Read everything you need to know about it. All the training is here. We've had a recent webinar update so that you can listen to this. It's about an hour-long presentation. There's 4 voicemail recordings here that are violations and did result in payment to a consumer and an affiliate or lead source that made up to $200 on these actual leads. There's a contract here in the FDCPA. There's testimonials. There's materials for your use. And then there's a lot of education on these links here at the top. Know your rights, voicemails, excessive phone calls, third-party contact. And then finally, when you're ready to submit a lead, you just go to this website, complete as much of this information as you know, and our department will take it from there, and you'll make money. It's a great way for you to earn up to $200, as we said, but more than that, it's a great way for you to help your customer in order for them to have their rights protected. One other thing I want you to remember is our webinar on Tuesday. If you'd like to look at our new software system, you go to this link here. It says webinars on the top of the page. Click on that, and you can register for the Scoreinc webinar. If you know someone that might be interested in or that needs to listen to this type of training, be sure to refer them to us. If you want to receive access to our training and you're not a member or you don't know your login information, go to the members page, complete this form here on the right, and when you do, you'll receive an email. Now make sure to check your junk folder because sometimes it goes there, and you'll get the username and password to be able to access the members-only training here. Let me type that in real quick. But we've got about 70 hours worth of training and supporting material here as well for you to review. There's the critical path in communication with your new customer. We got how to take consistent, proper action with your business, learn to control referral buyer and control referral source. Several webinars with Troy Hitt, who's a really great friend as well as a great producer. You would learn from that. Again, this FDCPA video is here, the anatomy of a credit report, and how I built a 5,000-person referral source, how to do business with car dealers. There's 2 series on that. And so there's just a lot of training here. So be sure to take advantage of that. And you can download that onto your iPhone as well, so you can take it and listen to it at any time, 24 hours a day. So, Joshua, that's it for me. I hope that everybody's enjoyed our webinar today. We'll be back on Tuesday for our Scoreway webinar series, and we hope that that you would join us for that, and we'll see you back next Thursday here at 3 p.m.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the call. Remember to reach out to us on Facebook, and I sent out the Facebook and LinkedIn links as well to all in the chat. So if you've got that in and you can review that later on in your chat logs, and just click on the link, and or copy and paste it into your browser, and you'll go to our Facebook page as well as our LinkedIn page. You can follow us on LinkedIn, or and also like us on our Facebook page to keep abreast of any events and specialty events that we may be launching in the next coming months. So thank you very much, and have a great week, everyone.